As you can see, I'm in my North Beam right here. That's all revenue streams going to my e-commerce brand. I'm gonna hit refresh just to show you that this is real and we're on track to hit 20 million this year alone. I don't say this to brag, but to show you what's possible if you actually double down and avoid the traps that most six-figure dropshippers fall into. The truth is, it doesn't matter if you find a crazy new winning product or a crazy new winning ad. If you don't find a way to let go of the dropshipping mindset, you'll never be able to get off the six-figure per month dropshipping hamster wheel just like I did. And I was stuck there for years. Or at best, maybe you'll get to $1 million a month. Maybe you'll get to 500,000 a month, but it'll be very, very short-lived and not sustainable over the long term. And the reason isn't that your strategy is wrong, that your product is wrong, or that even that your funnel is wrong. It's that you're not approaching and thinking through the game of e-commerce the right way. That's why in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through the 3 biggest mindset shifts that I went through that have helped me break the six-figure curse and get to multiple 8 figures per year in revenue. And this is the same brainwashing, if you want to call it that I've used with multiple clients, over 64 now, that have taken them from 6 to multi-6-figure months to 7-figure months and beyond, and even a couple clients over 2 million per month. And by the way, if you're doing more than 100,000 per month and you want me to take a look into your brand and give you a personalized scale audit plan to give you a 30-day action plan that you can take and run with to scale your brand, we're giving away a couple of these calls for free. Check out the link in the description. But again, even if you manage to book in the call because they go fast, and we give you the next steps and you go take action on it, it won't last in the long term and it simply won't work unless you have a mindset shift around how you think about dropshipping and e-commerce. So let's get into the 3 biggest mindset shifts that have helped me scale from 6-figure months to multi 8 figures per year. Okay, so into the first one here, we have key mindset shifts to scale from 6 to 8 figures. First and foremost is just calm down. Calm down, okay? Stop the FOMO and don't compare yourself to random Shopify screenshots. Because trust me, I've been there and I'm still there. It's tough. You scale, you're making good progress, then you go on Twitter and then there's some 16-year-old doing 3 million a month, right? Like it happens, okay? The issue is this takes away from your focus and takes away from you making progress and keeping the focus where it needs to be within your brand. Because what happens is you go on Twitter, you see these guys, 3 million a month, 2 million a month, and we don't have any context, right? It's just a screenshot. You don't know how long their brand's been there, what product they sell, what niche, their LTV, their profit margins, etc. You have no clue. And the issue is, and I've been there once again, you go look at this and you're like, oh my God, they're crushing. It's TikTok Shop. That's the secret. Then you go take that and you're like, let me go just do TikTok Shop. And you have all this FOMO and it stops you from focusing and doubling down what actually matters for your specific business. Because I can't stress this enough. Okay? The amount of people that I know on Twitter who are sharing screenshots, etc., who either have very low profit margins or it dies out 3 months later or there's no consistency. It happens all the time. And even if they are crushing it, my point is, every brand is different. Your product, your funnel, your constraint is going to be different than theirs. And if you get all this FOMO and you're jumping from one thing to the next, it's going to be really difficult to focus in and solve your constraint to actually scale your brand to the next level. Okay? So don't compare yourself to random Shopify screenshots. I've been there. It's tough. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. And it's just overall not a good thing that you want to be doing. Okay? And next, that leads to my next point, which is you want to avoid going into the same loop as most dropshippers, right? Monkey see, monkey do, monkey goes broke, right? Which is the majority of most dropshippers. The dropshipper's lifespan is about 1 year to 5 years. You'll find that many dropshippers you see right now on YouTube, off of YouTube, that you know, friends and family, whoever you know doing it, after 5 years, they quit and they go back and run a normal job. Why? Because they can't consistently compound result and testings into one specific brand and build into a real long-term brand that's sustainable. They jump from one thing to the next because of that FOMO and they copy what other people are doing. They get stuck in the same 6-figure dropshipping loop where they copy and pasting ads, they're stealing content, etc. And they don't actually learn how to build a real business and a real brand that's sustainable. And so it's simply not sustainable. And then they end up being churned out and not surviving the game because they simply didn't think long-term enough and they're always focused on short-term cash, okay? So don't go into the same loop as most dropshippers. Understand what they do, take what they do that works, and then understand to focus and apply that to actually playing a long-term game to where you're not going broke and you could actually do this for the next 10, 20, 30 years and build a real brand that you could exit for millions versus just having one-hit wonder store, a second winning product store. You make a bunch of cash and you go to zero. You make a bunch of cash and you go to zero. I don't know about you, but I never enjoyed that. And it just does not sound fun. Okay, it sounds stressful, and I just simply choose to work on one brand, scale it, that way I can exit for millions. We're in our 4th year, going to our 5th year now, okay? And last but not least is stick to the plan and think it through before making a big decision / change to your strategy. And that ties this all together. Once again, if you if you know what you need to do with your brand, you identify your core constraint and you know what you need to do to solve it. And if you don't know that, well, that's a completely different issue. You should watch some of my other videos or hop on a call so we can work through that with you. But if you know what your main constraint is, put the focus there, stick to it. And when you see these massive screenshots of people saying, no, here's the sauce or TikTok shop or it's this or that, make sure you think it through and ask yourself, does this solve my main constraint in my business or is it just a short-term win? And then make your decision based off of that, okay? Now, the next one I have here is build for the long term actually ends up getting you faster results, right? Stop trying to get rich tomorrow. I failed for 4 years straight without seeing results, right? Now, it doesn't have to take that long, but thinking short term kept me in the same spot because for the first 4 years of me trying e-commerce and drop shipping online, what I did was I found a winning product. I was working for somebody else. I copied their ads. I copied their comments. I would then take that, make my own versions. And then once again, I'd rip it and then I'd make my own versions as well. And I'd make a couple 6 figures here and then it would go to zero. Then I'd do another product and it would go to zero. And when I do this, the issue is I was thinking of short-term cash because I was broke. I had no money. So it was like, well, what do I need to do to get from point A to point B as fast as I possibly can? The issue is thinking like that in itself kept me in that same spot of having almost little to no success and no real money for 4 years. I was working at Tim Hortons and as a lifeguard to fund the dropshipping business that I was doing and just burning money consistently, right? And it didn't have to take that long, but it took that long because I was thinking so short term. I was like, how can I make quick cash now versus how can I take this and turn it into a real brand, a real business, okay? And it's this shift of thinking of it from a dropshipping perspective versus building a real brand that really does make all the difference. Because when you think long term and how do I build a moat and how do I make this to a real long term consistent brand, you make different decisions. You don't just jump from product to product. You double down and you understand that you need to develop your skills. You're not just copy and pasting things and actually not developing some skills, right? Lots of you guys watching this are really, really good at going from 0 to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 a month, right? You get really good at that. And then you can't get past 2 million a month, 2 million a month, 3 million a month, etc., or have a store that lasts longer than a year, 2, 3, 4 years because all of your skill set is just on pumping and dumping and like getting a store from 0 to 200, 300K a month. But getting from 3, 4, 500K a month to a million a month, 2 million a month plus is a completely different ballgame with a completely different skill set, right? You have to understand business model, LTV, cash flow, inventory planning, hiring, managing, etc. And if you never stick to the thing to make that next leap to get those skills, you're just simply not going to develop them and you're not going to get to that point like I did. And once again, it took me 4 years to wake up, to stop being, the monkey see, monkey do dude, just drooling out of my mouth watching YouTube copying stuff of what everyone else was saying versus saying, okay, let me actually just like filter out the noise, dial in on what I actually need to do for this business and focus and develop my skill set. And then that's when we actually really started scaling. We got stuck at 200-300K a month and I made the switch. Then we very quickly went to 10 million a year, 15 million a year. Now this year will be 20 million a year plus. Okay. So get out of the dropshipping hamster wheel of pumping and dumping products. Once it keeps you in this low revenue threshold. If you really want to make the next jump, you need to get out of this mindset, okay? And plan for the long term and set up the right foundations because this is what actually leads to big scale. Once again, when you actually think for the long term, it's very counterproductive or counterintuitive, not counterproductive, but counterintuitive because if you thought you put all the focus on making money right now, you make more money now. But when you actually build for the long term, a great product, you get word of mouth, your LTV is great, your repeat purchase rate's good, etc., you end up compounding these results so much faster and you scale and profit way more because of it. Okay? So when you think on the long term, you actually get way faster results because once again, I failed for 4 years straight. Okay? Then I started this brand and a year, 2 years, we were stuck at around $1 million a year and then we went up to, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 million a year in year 2. And then from there, when I really focused on this and made this switch, we jumped to 10 million a year and then 20 million a year, right? That's like a 10 million plus per year added revenue in a year, right? Well, why? Because I started building for the long term. And even though that takes time to ramp up, it all accumulates together and leads to massive scale in the long term, okay? Which actually doesn't end up being as long as you think it ends up being, right? If you think long term, you think 10, 20 years, build for 10, 20 years. And then you'll realize all those results will actually happen way faster than you think. Okay, but when you plan for the short term, once again, you never get that benefit. And lastly, don't be your own bottleneck. You need to stop thinking of yourself as a dropshipper and treat your store as a real business because it is. Okay, don't think of it as I'm a dropshipper, I'm a dropshipping store. No, you're building a real business a real brand, okay? Your customers are giving you their hard-earned money. Don't take it lightly and give a good service, right? If you're pumping and dumping shit products, you don't know the ingredients and it's terrible quality, your repeat purchase rate's low, your refund chargebacks are high, obviously that's not going to be a long-term sustainable business, right? And you're going to make less money because of it. So instead, think of it as a real business. If you were buying from your own business, would you buy? Would you be happy with your support? Would you be happy with the marketing that you're seeing, etc.? And that will end up leading you to making more money anyways, okay? So don't be your own bottleneck by thinking it and treating your store as just this short-term drop shipping store, fun little gig, side gig that you're doing. Like, you need to think of it as a real brand. This is what I want to do full time. I'm building a real long-term brand. Because once again, your decision making changes and you look through a different lens, and that leads to making better decisions that end up making you more money, like having a better product, better customer support, etc. Okay? Next is you want to hire the right people and get a bird's eye view of the brand, because sometimes the answer is who, not how. You may be your own bottleneck. What I mean by that is if you are at a new revenue flow, let's say you're 200 or 300K a month, and your revenue dropped, you scaled up to 500, you dropped to 200, 300K. And now you're stuck there and you can't scale further. Okay? There's something in your funnel, there's something with your product, with your ads, so somewhere in your funnel, there's a constraint that needs to be fixed. And if you're trying to solve it, you identify the constraint and you're trying to solve it, and you can't solve it within 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and you're still stuck, you're the bottleneck. And why are you the bottleneck? Because clearly you don't have the skills to solve that constraint. Because if you did, you would solve it and you'd be scaling. And so when you're stuck in this rut and once you scale up, then you go down, you scale up and you go down, you really can't get to that next revenue threshold or the new revenue baseline. It's a skill issue, okay? And you need to identify that to either one, go get consulting or help, or two, go hire the right person who already knows and who has done that to bring them in to do it for you, okay? Because sometimes the answer is who, not how. For example, with my brand, I know we need a much better conversion rate. Our conversion rate is lacking for our AOV 100 million%. We scaled, so it's dropped. We're very cold traffic, and our conversion rate is dropped. It's not good enough for us to continue scaling. So I know that I'm not the best CRO person. I don't know that much about CRO. I know the basics. I've been doing it for a while, but I want to solve it faster than me trying to do it by myself. So I went and poached somebody from a brand who's a CRO expert, a CRO analyst, a senior analyst, to come in, who's done it already for a brand in our niche, to do it for us, right? Sometimes who, not how. You hire who, they figure out the how, okay? And so this may not even be a hiring stage. It may just be consulting or getting a friend's advice, or just, someone in your network who you know who's done it before, and get them to get a bird's eye view and say, look, what do I need to do here? That needs to be fixed, okay? But understand that if you understand what your constraint is and then you're not scaling, and you can't solve that constraint, it's a skill issue, because either you don't know how to solve it, or you do, but you aren't putting proper time, money, and resources towards it, okay? So sometimes the answer is who, not how. Either way, you need to figure out the how if you have the who, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So don't be your own bottleneck. So those are the key mindset shifts from 6 to 8 figures. Once again, calm down, stop the FOMO, build for the long term will actually end up making you more money and get faster results, and don't be your own bottleneck in your business. So listen, once you shift away from that dropshipping mindset and start thinking about building a real brand and thinking long term, that's when you actually really scale to those big numbers and really start making good money. That's how you stop being stuck at 6 figures and get to 6-figure days. And if you're looking to turn your brand into an 8-figure brand, whether you're doing 100,000 a month, 200,000, 300,000 a month, or even 500,000 plus a month, we can help. As I said at the start of the video, we're giving away a few free one-on-one scale audit calls for anyone doing over 100,000 per month. I can't promise there will be any left, so check out the link in the description. My promise to you is that we will not pitch you. This is a thank you for you making it to the end of the video. We will give you help and give you advice, and you can just take it and run with it. If you are completely overwhelmed with value that we give you on this call, and you want to learn more how to work with us one-on-one to help take that action plan and work one-on-one with me to scale your brand with you, then you let us know. If you're not interested, you come, you get the free plan, and be on your merry way. Okay? With that being said, I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the link in the description, and I will see you in the next one.